Hello everybody. So in this video, we're going to go over our last, I guess in a sense, units, but these aren't really units. These are more as in, well, they are technically units, but we're going to go over settlers and the militia. And then after this, we're going to be completely done with any type of military units, like any type of so we're going to be completely done with working with the unit body, the unit design, all that stuff. Even though I know I said in my last video that the other thing was going to be the last one, that I meant like the last one for the Silix. So for this one, I have the documents up because it is very similar to how we did it with our Silix units. And the only difference is that for these, it's well, there are a couple of like differences. Like there's some things that like they don't need to be added. But for the ones that do, the first one that we need to add is that we need to give it like some data, like its attack data, its defense data, its initiative. And the first way we can go about this is by going into the simulation descriptor and editing our name and like just changing its base attack. So I'm going to just call this the unit type Silix Militia. And I'm going to leave it the same data value. Actually, I'm going to give its data value the same the Silix normal, because the militia in my ideals is, or well, the militia in my idea is that it is going to have the same stats as, and it's going to be exactly the same as the Silix normal. So ideally, it should have the same stats. And then what we can also, then the next thing we can add is the unit type. Is the what was I gonna say? The unit Silix is the what's it called? God, I can't think for today. What we're going to add is that we're going to add the Silix. We're going to add the Silix settlers. Duh. I don't know why I was messing up on that so badly. And so yeah, I just need to organize this because this is looking a bit bad. Let's see. That calls to that, and that calls to that. That calls to that, and that calls to that. Okay, so we're good. So yeah, now we just need to add our settler, and then we should be good with our stats. So for our settler, we're gonna call this type Silix settler, and we'll just give it like a 2 for attack. Defense will give 42. It doesn't matter. Well, actually, we could change it to like 22. We're gonna just reduce everything by 20. So we're going to call this 7, and we're going to give its health 112. Because they are settlers, so they are supposed to be weaker than normal militia. And let me make sure that I have this correct. Yep. And so these are the stats for my my Kazanji game, and I just have these here just to make sure that I'm doing the correct documents, because since, as I mentioned earlier with the videos that I'm doing, because I don't like to edit, and I can't like just start and stop videos anymore like I did in like the first few ones. So I don't want to actually make any mistakes and then have this be an extended video. So we're going to close that out. I'm going to leave this up in case I need to reference it. And so, but I'm just going to move this to the back. The next thing is our unit body definitions. And so for this one, what I'm going to do, just to speed things up, I'm going to just copy this, their settlers, and okay, I got the settler and militia. And so in a sense, what you could do is that if you want, you can always give the settlers and the militia any type of bonus bonus offense, or any type of bonus abilities that normal like units won't have, and you can like change like what like how it acts and things like that. Um, and so I'm going to change that to SF, so it's going to be Silic Faction Settlers. We're going to change this to Silic Faction Settlers. We're going to give it the tag Settlers. Now, the tag, I think, like, because this is a settler unit and not like a normal unit, that means that this unit is going to be given to the Empire automatically. Like, it doesn't necessarily matter like what era you're in. It's automatically going to be given to the Empire as long as it shows it right here, like one of the prerequisites. That, like, this will be given to the Empire as long as it has a population greater than 1. Oh, and I finally figured out what this GT means. GT means greater than. So yeah, if you ever see a tag that says greater than, that's what that means. And I'm pretty sure that if you have LT, it'll mean less than. But yeah, I'm going to give it the abilities that the normal Silic unit has. So I'm going to go down to here. So unit ability, terrain damage. So we're going to leave unsellable because these shouldn't be sold. We're going to give it beam, disease immunity, weather faring, terrain damage, and map boosts. And so this is how, and so, yeah. So that has the same abilities as or similar abilities to the, to the normal Silics, but it's just a bit, it just has like a couple of extra with the colonization and the block growth. The next thing is that we have to change our affinity from SF to KF, so that way this spawns with our Silic faction, and this only comes to the Silic faction. This is, and the same thing here as a prerequisite. Then we're gonna have the population is greater than 1. If you want to have it where where you get a settler instantly, you can always have it greater than 0, or you can, but I'm going to just leave this as greater than 1. We're going to leave this right here. This is just the prerequisite to make sure that there is plenty of room inside the garrison. And I don't really feel like, not that I don't feel like, but I don't want to mess with that because it's good as it is. So we have the cost per error. I'm going to just leave that as is because again, that's like the normal cost for the actual Silic settlers. Population, and we're going to give it another cost, which is the population cost. So that's just another cost that you can add in, as well as a transferable cost like strategic resources or money. And so, when you have this, so this one right here, you also get a bonus descriptor reference. This is just saying that it'll show that your city is producing a settler, and this can change the different aspects of what happens in your city when you're producing a settler. So we're going to change this affinity to be SF right here. Change this to be the type of it to be the SF settler, so that way the data goes into right here. We're going to have this class be infantry because there is no settler class. But the unit itself is going to be a settler. And you could change the size, and I think I mentioned this in my last video, but the size of it determines not only how big or small it is, but how many of them there are. So if you have it be teeny, you have a lot of smaller people, but there'll be a lot more of them. And you can change this in the game if you want. I just don't really want to change it right now because I don't want to have to spend more time going in and change it. So for right now, we're going to leave it as teeny, so that way it shows that there's a lot more people with settlers, and likewise, you should have more people when it comes to settler. Movement capacity, that's just like how it moves. I'm gonna just skip down because I already went over all this stuff in my other video. And now we have our militia. So I'm gonna call this the Silix Militia. We're going to, and I'm going to also change its unit ability reference. We're going to copy this right here, and we're going to go down and just paste all of this right here because none of this is specific, is really that none of this is necessarily needed. As in, like, there's nothing that's really that different between the militia and the Silix for at least this section. We're going to change this to be change its affinity so that way spawns only with us. Garrison count, production, and as you can tell, there is no buyout cost, and that's because you can't just buy out any of these units. And I think actually, I think I might have. There is a well, anyways, yeah, there is no buyout cost for this one because you can't just buy your militia. We're gonna call this Silix faction. We're gonna call this Silix faction militia. We're gonna change its class to infantry. Actually, I think I might have misspelled that. And we're gonna leave everything else. And oh, last thing. I need to go in and change its battle behavior for the AI, so that way the AI would know what to do. So we're just going to change all of this from flying offense to melee offense, and this is because this will cause problems because like for flying units as an AI, when it moves, it'll go over hills, and so if the unit's recognizing that it should go over hills, it might cause some problems with the game and potentially crash. But yeah, I'm going to just go in here real quick and just need to see something just to make sure that there is a so we have a custom cost instant false. I just need to make sure that because I know for this one you can buy out, but I need to see if there was something specific that cancels it, because there's nothing specific in here that cancels that doesn't say that we can't buy out. Okay, so I think we're good. So yeah, we're going to now go in, bring that to the back. We're going to now go to our unit design. And the one thing I want to show here is that the settler is going to be fine. Like, we just have a normal settler. So I'm just going to copy this right here. We're going to have the same model number. And we're going to change this from Unit Silix number 1 to Unit Silix settler number 1. And it's going to reference the unit body Silix settler. I think that's what I called it. I might have called it SF settler. Yeah, I called it SF settler. So I'm going to just take that and call this SF settler, and I'm going to just call this SF settler as well, just to keep it consistent. And so now for what we can see is that with the militia, we have a lot to go about. And so just to speed things up, I'm just going to copy all of this right here and I'm just going to bring this right here into our data table. And the first thing you can see, and so what we have is that we're going to have multiple militias, because for each era we're going to have our militia sort of upgrade by itself, and it needs to automatically upgrade once you reach a new era, unlike the other ones where they would upgrade but you have to first produce it, and that's how it would level up. The militia is different, where it would automatically level up based on the era you're in. So what we have to do is that we're gonna call this one. We have to we have to do this for every single era. So first thing we have to do is change its model from that to this right here. And we're gonna also have them. Actually, no, we're gonna have them not be hidden. Actually, I'm not entirely sure if they should be hidden or not. So we're going to go into. I'll take a look at that later. We're gonna change this to. We're gonna have its body be referenced to the SF militia, and we're gonna have this be tagging the militia and era 1, so that way it automatically upgrades. Now for here, we're going to actually what I'm going to just do right now is that I'm just going to copy this, and I'm just going to paste this right down there several times, so that way the only thing we have to just change right now is just call this from error 1 to error 2, and we can just change the tag from error 1 to error 2. And let's see if there's anything else that's different. Oh, we also have to change the items as well. Okay, so I'm going to just change the equipment set from its error 1 equipment set to its error 2 equipment set. So we're going to have that. Then I'm going to do the same thing for this one, but this one's going to be error 3. So this is now error 3. We're going to now go to error 3 militia bonus. We need to make sure we have that simulation descriptor also be good. So error 2 is good. I'm going to just take that out. And the last error 1 that I need to change is just this one, which I'm going to call error 2. And then now we have error 3, which we also need to call in our prerequisite. That's kind of a big that's kind of a big prerequisite that we need to have. So we already have that one, but for this one, oops, didn't mean to call that one error 3. We're gonna place that here. We're gonna call this error 2. And I think I may have an accident. Okay. Oops. I'm messing up badly. This probably wasn't a good idea. To do it like this way. Okay, so this is error 2. This right here is going to be error 3. So we have error 3, error 3, error 3, error 3, and error 3 right here. Now we have error 4. Militia, we're going to be referencing our militia error. We're going to call this militia error 4. We're going to give it the error 4 bonus. Going to give it, have this be tagged at error 4, and we're going to call this at error 4. And so now we're going to now I'm going to call in another one of. I'm going to do this one at a time now. I'm going to call in another one of these. So we're going to call this error 5. We're going to call this one error 5. Call it's research error 5. Make sure that the error 5 is right here. So yeah, it's a lot of just changing around the numbers. And error 3, the other thing that I forgot about error 3 is its equipment, which should be this. And so error 3's equipment should have this tier 3. and so I'm going to now delete error 3 because that is fine. We're now going to do the same thing for 4. We're going to give it its tier, well, it's not tier 4 anymore, but it's going to be another good set of armor, and we're now going to delete error 4. And now we have error 5, where we're going to give it its own set of unique weaponry. And so all that is good. We're going to now just delete all of this. And we're now down to our last one, which is error 6. So I'm going to just copy this one right here, paste that right here, call this error 6. We're going to call this one error 6. We're going to call this one right here error 6. Call this one error 6. And we're also going to now give it, and reference this one to be error 6. Making sure that's 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. And now all we have to do is just go in right here and change its unit set right there to be its error 6 unit set. And we're going to delete this right here. Okay, so now we're done with the militia. And if you have any questions, just leave a comment in the DM, because I did go through this one pretty fast because it was kind of long, but I hope you understand this. And again, if I made any mistake, also leave a comment as well so I could fix it. So now we are done with our unit design, and because that is it. After that, we are going to bring that off to the side. And now we're down to our last one, which is a GUI, which is giving the GUI elements to our whole design. So now what we do is that I'm just going to again just copy this right here, and I am going to go in and just paste this right here, call this Silix faction settler, and call this one Kazanji faction. That we're referencing the body of the Silix faction settlers, and referencing the body of Silix faction militia. I don't think I really need to explain all this, as I've explained a lot of this in my last video. There is no flames. There's no like Silix settler. I guess for now I'll just leave it as the flame settler, only because that's the only thing that would possibly make sense for this. But at least for our militia, I can change this to change the icon to be this right here, to be our unit Silix. One last thing I want to mention about the icon that I forgot to mention in my last video. If you go into, let's say that you want to add your own icon, you could go into your resources, add a new folder, or just go into texture as well. And like, let's say I want to have this blue texture right here. What I do is I reference, actually the first thing I need to do is that I need to, if I'm going to go in here, I'm just going to just double check with this. If you go into resources, you need to have a file that says GUI. And inside that GUI file, you need to have something that says dynamic bitmaps. Inside of it, then you can create your own folders. I have one that's called faction, but I have another one that's also called content as well. The content one I don't show, that was like more for testing purposes. But if I wanted to, I could go in here, create new folder, called it GUI. So that way it's going to be reference going to create new folder. Let me just make sure that I'm going to copy this name. We're going to copy the dynamic bitmaps right there, and we're going to create another folder called units, and inside the units folder we're going to then put our blue image inside there. So if I go back, go into textures, copy this right here, go into GUI, dynamic bitmaps, units, paste the texture. I can also just cancel this out right here because we don't necessarily need that. And now when it loads for our militia, we should have a Actually, I'm going to just change this from that to be the blue texture. We should have a blue texture. And actually, I'm going to give this one a blue texture. Oops, wrong thing. Meant to do that. Because I think I've been having problems with my other mod getting the Militia texture up. But anyways, I don't know if this will work or not, but as for like the Militia, but for now, we're going to just run the mod and hopefully all of this will work. And so yeah, I'm not going to really talk or much until we load up the game. So if you want, you could just skip forward to the part where we start testing the game, and then I'll start commenting. And so as you can see here, we have our icon as the blue, thing. Okay, so we are back now, and we are now going to see what is working. And we can see that, as I said, I'm having problems with this. I'm not entirely sure how to change the GUI for this. But I do know that this does work. And as you can tell, we do have a Militia. I'm going to just try to get past this as fast as I can. Just build one of these, research one of that. I don't know. Doesn't necessarily matter. All that matters is that we gotta just get another population, and then we can see if our settler is working. Just need to wait 3 turns. Oh, and I meant to say, as you saw earlier, the set as you saw earlier, the images were working. Again, just for some reason, I just can't get this one to work. I'm not entirely sure why. Just for me, like this part just doesn't work out. Even in my other mod, I just couldn't get it to work. So we need one more turn. Oh wait, no, we're at full population. Okay, so we should have a queue for settler, and the queue for settler is not popping up. I'm gonna just press one more just to wait, so that way we can okay, and the settler isn't working. The settler isn't popping up like what it's supposed to. Okay. So, what went wrong? Let's see. Okay, so let me check. I'm going to look for the KF settlers. I might have missed a file at the beginning. Gonna look inside here and look inside my content. Not that one. I'm gonna look inside. Which one is this? This is 2088563762. That's mine. So I'm gonna look inside and find everything from here. Okay, I think I missed one. I think I missed a reference. So we have our unit design, by definition, right there, and then we have our unit simulation. Okay, let's go in one by one. So we're gonna do Gooey unit design. We're gonna have KF settler, but our thing is going to instead be the SF settler and SF settlers. Okay, so that should be fine. KS settler. Then in remapping, they call in. Oh. Yeah, I think I messed up. Actually, I'm gonna call instead settler because I think. Okay. I think I might have, because I don't remember calling in the remapping. So I'm going to go back into here, going to the mapping, remapping. Yeah, I never called it in this one. Going to just copy this right here. Unit body, SF settler. And we're going to just have this reference be the unit body Silix golem. So the remapping is good now, and if we just compare them both to each other, armies, okay, so they're good. We're going to close, and the militia, oh wait, that could also be why I might not, I also don't have a remapping for the militia as well. Need to go in, copy that, go back here, and call in SF. No, not settler, but SF militia. I'm going to save that now. Going to exit this. So we have our remapping. So the remapping is good. Unit by definitions. Okay, so we're gonna go now into our unit body. Wait, let me just make sure that, so unit design Silix militia. Oh, I gotta change that out. Change out the title for that one. So that should be good now. Going to save that. Going to close this one out. This one should be fine right now. So we're going to now close this one out. We're now going to look at our unit body definitions. And I have a feeling that this is where things started to fall apart. So we're going to go down. I'm going to just lower this because we don't need that big. And we're going to look at our settler. So we reference our unit body, SF settlers, and that's what we're calling it, SF settlers, fast, and unit design settler. Okay. Affinity, SF. Is my affinity called SF? Let me just make sure. Yeah, okay. It is called SF, so that's fine. Prerequisite SF. Ah, here it is. Validity prerequisite. I forgot one. Okay. So now, if we close this out, it should work. I'm also gonna go right before anything starts because I just want to just show you guys. Um, I just wanted to show you guys that you can just change this. I'm going to just instead, I'm gonna just have this all be the Silex Golem instead of just like the blue icon. But I just kind of wanted to show that's what you can have. And so yeah, I'm going to just minimize all of that, and I'm going to go into here, and we are going to now test run the game, and hopefully it will work this time. Hopefully we can actually now start to test the game. And so from here I'm going to I might ramble for this part. So if you want to just like get through this and you don't want to hear my rambling, you can just skip all the way to the part where we like just look and see when we are actually playing around, like testing the mod. And yeah. Okay. But other than that, yeah. So I think that this is now going to work. I just think it didn't like pop up originally because the affinity itself was KF instead of SF. So it was like it was like being referenced, like that's why like it showed at the beginning, because it was saying that like we had it, like we had like the actual like settler itself, but we didn't have the like we had like the settler, like the everything about it, but we weren't able to build it inside the empire because we were the affinity KF, because there is no affinity KF in this mod right here. But yeah, that's how you add that unit. Alright, so we're going to settle here, and we are just going to just build whatever because it doesn't matter. Actually, I'm going to just start off with building one of these. I want to just see how it works. And my entire goal right now is to make sure that we can start to build a settler when we get 2 units. Okay, this doesn't look good. Okay, so that's still not good. But hey, we did figure out one of the problems. Okay, let's go back into unit body definitions. Oh, oops. Okay, that wasn't, damn. I thought that worked. I didn't realize okay, let's see. Now we're pulling it. Now we're going to really figure this out. If you guys want, you can just kind of skip to the end to where I do figure it out, because this might be a bit more this might be a bit boring. So, because I'm going to try what I can to figure out why we are not being able to produce this settler. And so yeah, if you want, you can just skip to the end, and you see how see what I did wrong and how I fixed it. Okay, so we have our unit design is good. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's called SF Settlers. And it's referencing our unit design settler. And this is referencing unit design settler. Let's go into unit designs. Unit design SF settler. Unit design KF settler. So that should be fine. Body, unit body. SF settler, number 1. SF. Okay. Oh, I think I may have found it. Simulation. Nope, not in there, but in the unit type. KF. Oh, okay. I found it. I'm pretty sure that this is it. Let's see, unit design. Not unit design, unit body. Okay, guys. Okay. Here it is. I think I figured it out. So, in our unit design, we reference our unit type SF Settler. Okay? We called this one right here originally Silex Settler, which we really need to call this SF Settler. And we called this Silex Militia, but we should again call this Silex SF Militia as well. Just to make sure that the same thing doesn't also, like, that it also works. Yeah. Okay. So, I'm going to close this out, and we are now going to test this one last time, and hopefully this will work. Yeah, I think that this is going to work. I think that it just didn't work originally, which is like it wasn't being produced because it didn't have any stats. And it was referencing a null property, which made, I think, the whole thing crash. But that's why you're able to see the logo like this right here for the settler, because it's a GUI and like the design and all that stuff still kind of works. It's just that like you can't actually do anything with it. So if you guys are here and you're listening, I'll go into a little bit of a ramble. So we're very close towards the end now. After this video, all we have left is localization and then uploading it. Okay. Okay, guys, here we are. In case you didn't see the video I just made, where I talked about the where I just made, but like a few minutes ago, where I figured out what went wrong. I think I was calling the wrong type, and I think it now. Oh no! Please work! Please work! Oh, come on! Is it still not working? Hold on. I need to see something. We have 2 units. Let me see what happens if I play a different character. How long does it take? while that's going on. Oh, still not it. So no one was listening. Okay. Settler, spear, torso. Okay. So we have our SF settler for our unit type. How come this wasn't referenced? Yeah, why isn't this one referenced? Oh. Oh, if I call in settler. Oh, okay. Okay, there's a lot more. This explains. Okay. So let's go through this. Okay. So localization we can close out because we're not up to that yet. Our map, we're going to start with our simulation description unit. Actually, we're going to go into our Gooey. Apparently we need to go into our Gooey. Okay, guys. So this is it. Gooey faction. No. Wait. Gooey faction traits. I'm gonna bring that over here. Gonna go into my other one. Gooey faction traits. Or I could just do it the easier way, which is just find it right there. Oh. Okay, I highlighted that. So we're going to just close that one out. Okay. Unit design. Gooey elements unit design. Okay, we're going to bring this here. Let's see. SF settlers. Okay. Is it SF settlers? Settlers. Settler. Okay. And so this one is completely good. I can guarantee like 99% that is good. So we're going to close that. We're going to close this. We're going to close that right there. We're going to open our remapping. We're going to go into here and go into our mapping. Open this one's remapping. Bring that there. Bring that there. Settlers. And this is called settler. I'm going to call this one settlers. And this is referencing the flame settler. Okay, so that's good. We're going to close that out. We're going to close this out. Next thing is the faction trait affinity, which is where we start off with one of those. I might as well add that. The going into the simulation faction trait affinity, might as well add our unit design SF settler instead of our Broken Lord settler. And I'm also going to get rid of our hero because we don't start off with one. And so we're going to just change this unit design from KF to SF. SF. Right there. Okay. So that's good. So I'm going to close this out. Going to close this out. Okay. Unit type. Settler unit type. Unit type. We're going to scroll down. SF. We're going to call this one the KF settler, and this is going to be called SF settler. So we have that right there, and I can say that this is going to be good. Okay. This right here. So now we're in our unit body. We're going to go to our unit body definition. I'm also going to close out this faction traits. And we are going to have, so we're calling reference unit body KF settlers. And I'm referencing SF settlers. And and that's what we're calling this. Settlers. Okay. Going to scroll down and unit design settler, none of that. That's all bonuses. KF, SF, we have that. KF settler, and we're going to be referencing our unit type settler. Okay, and I think this one is also good, but I'm going to just save that one for later. We're going to call the settler number 1, and it's referring unit body type settlers. We're going to call it, and we're not referencing in our unit design. We're supposed to reference settlers. Okay. I think this is good now. Okay, ideally this should work now. Now we have all the references and we have it correctly. So we're now referencing settlers. Ideally I should just call it all settlers. Or settler, just one or the other. Actually, just to make sure that nothing bad is going on. Okay. But I'll do that some other time. I don't want to extend this video longer than what it already is. Yeah, so I think that was a big thing. The unit design caused that entire problem. Because in Endless Legend, when you have one problem, it trickles down to the... It trickles down. So one problem in one area will cause more problems in another. And the reason why I think it, as I said, the reason why it still shows up is because we do have the settler. It's just, and it's just that we can't access it because the references that it has. Ooh. And I think that's a good sign. So we do have a Silix settler. Oh, my titanium. Let me just see if this... Okay, yeah. Okay, so my titanium is still good. We'll just build that. Doesn't necessarily matter. We just need to get a settler. Okay, so I think this is going to work. But I'm not going to say anything until the very end. Okay. Oh, hey, I'm right by myself. I hope this is good luck. Still no for some reason. Okay, guys. I'm going to end the video here, because I think there is something wrong. And I'll post another small video talking about what I did wrong and how to improve upon it. But other than that, if you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. For those of you who just clicked on here, I wasn't able to finish it. I'm going to make another video of figuring this out. So yeah, See you in my next video.